Okay, black on black, my thoughts.
Hi guys, Black is here. And I want to go back. I want to go back to 2017. I think it was late 2017 when I bought my 2001 Cadillac Deville. Okay. What made me buy this car was my niece had bought a 99 Deville Concord, or whatever the hell they call it. And I had told her not to buy the car because I knew they had a history of running hot. I knew they had a history of bad transmissions. I knew they were hard to work on. And I told her not to buy it, but she went ahead and bought it anyway. So because I liked her, I tried to help her fix it. And I fixed her air, I replaced the air compressor, I replaced the air lines, and then we found out that the air shocks was bad. And she didn't want to spend the money to replace the air shocks, so she gave up on it. I also replaced an alternator on that thing. And luckily there was a video showing me how to do it. And when I removed some, I think I had to remove the radiator, but somebody tell me I didn't have to remove the radiator, but whatever. After removing the radiator or whatever, I realized that the car wasn't really that hard to work on. You just had to move stuff out your way to get to it. But anyway, I would have loved her to, to have kept trying to fix the car, but like I said, she gave up on it. So when I saw this DeVille at the auction, I had to buy it. And it was to me, it was too nice of a car to just let it go. That and it only cost me $375. The car ran, but I knew the transmission was bad because it actually said the transmission was bad. But anyway, I bought the car, I had the transmission put in it, and I sort of kind of knew it had a blown head gasket, but I wasn't sure. And, let me tell y'all the truth. I honestly did not believe a block tester was very accurate. For some reason, I didn't believe it was accurate. So I never did try it at first. But, I took it to a shop and I guess they did a block test on it, and they said that the head gasket was not blown. It needed a water pump. I really don't believe they replaced the water pump. If they did, the water pump that's on there, it looks old and rusty. And I just believe if they had put a new water pump on it, it would have looked nicer. That and the damn thing sort of kind of wobbles a little bit. I don't think they replaced the water pump. But anyway, the point is this. I finally decided to go on eBay and buy some block testing fluid. And I watched a few videos and I tested. And of course, the fluid stayed blue. At least I thought it stayed blue. It wasn't until some months later, I was looking at the video. At the end, I noticed that it was kind of green. I went back to the beginning of the video and saw that it was blue. And I realized it didn't turn yellow, but it turned green. And that's when I realized it actually did have a blown head gasket. It was just it wasn't blown enough to turn the fluid yellow. And I noticed that no videos, except for my own, talks about the fluid don't turn yellow, it turns green. And see, that's why I made a video, and I need to make another one to let people know that if your fluid turns green, you still have a blown head gasket. And a lot of people don't know that. They just think it's going to either be blue or yellow, but there is an in-between. But anyway, why am I making this video? I want to talk about some stuff about the Cadillac. Okay, I went to a pull apart yesterday. I was looking for some interior lights for my Golf, and I saw a guy in the parking lot driving the DeVille, older black guy, and I asked him, was his car running hot? And he said it was. And I asked him, I said, have you tried to fix it? And he's like, oh, you can't fix this. And I was like, why you can't? He said, because it's aluminum block, it's aluminum head, you can't fix that. And I said, you can't? He's like, no, you can't. He goes, well, there's this thing, you can drill out all 20 bolts and you put them back in, But I heard that won't fix it either. It'll still leak after a few months. And I'm like, really? Yeah. So the best thing, he was like, I can only drive about 30 miles. It'll run high if I drive more than that. So I just use to drive back and forth to the parts store. And I'm thinking to myself, well, he's an old man. He doesn't know any better. He believes what people tells him. I have a thing where I say, they said. What I mean by they said, you hear people say, well, they said this and they said that and they said you can't do this and they said you can't do that. Well, they said has never done anything because they listened to what they said. If I listened to what they said, I would have never tried to fix my Cadillac. But because I'm not the smartest person in the world, okay? I don't really consider myself as being a technician. I went to school, but I dropped out. Well, actually I got kicked out. But I don't really consider myself a technician. I like to say I work on cars or I work on my own cars, okay? But at the same time, I like to think I'm smarter than a real technician. And the reason I say that is I don't listen to what they said. I just do it. Sometimes you just have to do something. You have to do something. You can't sit around and watch videos on the internet. You can't sit around and listen to what they said. You have to do it yourself, And that's what made me try to fix my car. My Cadillac. And the overheating issue is 100% fixed, okay? It's 100% fixed. So what is the problem? I know people want to say so bad, well, Black, it's still smoking, so something you didn't do right. Yeah, you're right, it is smoking, but it's not my fault. Some people look at my video and they say, one guy left a comment, well, you cut the oil control ring, what do you expect? I cut the tip of the oil control ring because it would not go into the cylinder. The oil control ring was too damn long. And you can't squeeze metal together. I guess he doesn't know that because he doesn't work on cars. As a matter of fact, I left a comment asking him, what would you have done? He never did respond. So why didn't he respond? Because he don't know what the he talking about. He don't know anything. Okay? He went online, he tried to find a video, or somebody who talked about cutting oil control rings. I haven't tried myself. I haven't tried. But he couldn't find anything most likely, so he decided, well, I'm not gonna say anything. But I did what I thought was best. I couldn't get the rings to go in. I tried every which way. They would not go in the cylinder because you couldn't compress it. The rings were too long. You couldn't compress. The ring compressor would not compress them. Okay? It's not like the compression rings. There's a gap. And you can squeeze that gap together and you can push it down in there. But that oil control ring, you can't. It was a gap also, but when it goes around the cylinder, it bumps into each other. You couldn't compress it. That's why it wouldn't go down. So I cut a tip. I didn't cut a lot. It's not like I cut so much that it was a gap. It was still bumping. Because I only cut like a tip of it off. And it was still bumping, but it went down in the cylinder. Okay? It smoked less, but it still smoked. So what do I think the problem is? I think it's the bad rings. The rings are no good. So I ordered some, I think they call them Mally rings or whatever. I've already ordered them. Okay? I've already ordered them. By the way, I've gotten the check from the IRS. It's been put in the bank. After taxes and all, I got like $32,355. And I've already, don't come try to rob me because there's no money in the house. All the money's in the bank, okay? I've already paid $12,000 and some dollars to Chase credit card and another $2,000 to Discover card. So I've gotten the money and I'm paid out what? $14,000 already on credit cards. Anywho, get back to it. I've ordered the rings. when they get here, well, I haven't even started taking the motor apart again. I haven't started taking that out. I said I was going to give a week for my knees and back and all that to rest, because from getting down on the ground, getting back up, it takes a toll on my old ass overweight body. But anyway, I might even start this weekend. And the funny part, the last few days would have been perfect because it's been cool as hell here. Actually, yesterday was kind of warm at 73, but 2 or 3 days before that, it was, I think the high temperature might have been 61 degrees. But anyway, I'm going to take the engine out a third time, take it apart a third time, and put those oil control rings. I'm thinking about not changing the compression rings. I don't think I'm having a problem with the compression rings. And to be honest with you, when I first put those compression rings in there, they look just like the factory rings. The only difference was the factory rings were even looser. The factory rings would damn near fall out the business. The rings I got off eBay, whatever the hell they call, they fit around the piston a little tighter, but a lot looser than a ring for a 350. You know, I rebuilt my 96 Tahoe, and the rings, they had a gap, but they wasn't all loose. But I guess that's the way they are on the Cadillac. I don't know why, but that's the way they are. But anyway, I'm going to put those Molly, whatever the hell you call, oil control rings, and hopefully that will stop the smoking. And if it don't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. But I'm not giving up on the car, because to me, it's interesting to work on something that nobody else think that can be fixed. And like I said, I don't know that I make a video or not, but I was delivering on DoorDash, and I met another guy who had a DeVille who was also, I think I did, it was overheating. And he thinks it's air in the lines. And I tried to tell him, and I was one of the people who believed that you had to take the little hose off the reservoir and let the coolant pump into the tank or jug to remove the air. No. A Northstar bleeds itself. All you have to do is take the freaking cap off, put coolant in, and leave the cap off, and the air will eventually bleed out. You don't have to do anything else to it. But anyway, he thinks that that's what the problem is. Because he said, I take the hose off and nothing but steam comes out. Air or whatever. He has a blown head gasket also. But the thing, again, people believe you can't fix them. Apparently you can, because my Cadillac does not overheat. I drove that damn thing. I put 170 miles on it. It never overheat. The temperature never went past half. It stayed right there. It didn't pump out coolant. It didn't do anything except smoke. That was the only damn thing it did was smoke. And then also, I wondered about this. I wondered, when the engine, because it was kind of warm that day I drove it, and I was wondering, I wondered, would the radiator hose be all swole up like it used to be? No, the radiator hose, it wasn't real loose, but it had some give in it, But anyway, I don't want to make a long ass video. I just wanted to say this about the Cadillac Deville. It can be fixed. And like I said, the overheating problem is completely gone. But anyway, if you're having a question, that's pretty ass. I've never seen that one. This is a 2006 or newer. I've never seen it before. I guess he's visiting. I live on, it's not a dead, I guess you call it a dead end, because it's only one way out. But so people just don't pass through. If they go in that way, they got to come back out. And I've never seen that Cadillac before. Pretty off-white, almost the color of mine, except it's newer. But anyway, again, having a question, comments, leave them.